Okay, here we are in InDesign. I happen to have a file open, which is my intro page that I did that you saw in the video before this. I just want to get you used to the things that are going on here. I'm sorry, allergies are kicking in already, and I know this is annoying. I'll just try not to do that. As you can see, we're using InDesign CC, which is now for InDesign Creative Cloud. Right off the bat, I want to talk about the Creative Cloud a little bit. It is no longer software that you purchase, it's software that you rent. You can pay monthly or yearly, depending on the situation. Adobe is a fantastic company. They make some spectacular software. This is a great thing and a bad thing at the same time, if you ask me. It's more affordable for people, for a lot of people, but you never own the software. So when you stop paying, the software goes away, and then you no longer can open up the files that you have. My suggestion, if you care, is to find a copy of InDesign CS6 that you can still purchase, and you can purchase that. And then you'll have the software to open up stuff later. Eventually it's going to go away, so I don't know. Right now things are starting to go so Creative Cloud that you just might as well bite the bullet and do that too. But if you have CS6, you're more than welcome to use that. CC and CS6 will have some differences, but it's mostly upgraded differences. The interface looks a little different, but it's all the palettes and the operations work pretty much the same. Okay? So if you are able to purchase the software, that's fantastic. I can't expect you all to get it, but you're going to need it. And if you have to go into the labs and use it there, that's great. But the Creative Cloud, we'll talk about it as we go, and it's got a lot of good stuff. So let's take a look. Right up here, I have 3 different things open. And right up across the top here in this panel up here, we have our inspectors panel, which is the heart of all the things that are going on here. This is going to tell you, like right now that I'm in the move tool, all the things that are here, and as soon as I click on the type tool, you're going to see that we now have text, fonts, sizes, all kinds of things going on here. Now, my resolution on my monitor here is pretty big. This is a 27-inch monitor, so you might not get this same size resolution and all these different things that are going on, but that's okay. I have 2 monitors, one that work right next to each other, and they work great because then I have all my palettes on one monitor and I have all my work on the other monitor, and it's a great way to save space. Toolbar down the left hand side here has everything that we're going to need to create things in InDesign, and then of course over here on the right we have all these panels, and they are called spring-loaded panels. These panels are able to, when you click on them, they pop out. This is a great way to save some screen estate, and then the panels are also tabbed together so that you can use these in any which way you feel comfortable. And that you're going to hear me talk about that a lot. When we're working in InDesign, we want to be efficient. We want to be comfortable with what we're doing. So as you go, you'll get more comfortable, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to do your work. In this industry, a deadline is a deadline, and you need to work as efficiently as possible, because if you don't meet your deadline, then you're not going to get paid. You're not going to get another job. So these are all things to think about. Okay? So let's take a look. Right in here, here's my main window with the document that you saw that I was using. But notice here we have these tabs. Well, these tabs happen to be different pages that we can have open at the same time, or different documents. And that's how we get around from one document to another. So let's talk a little bit about our interface. The first thing we're going to want to do is we are going to want to go into preferences, InDesign preferences, and on the Mac we're going to find preferences underneath, right over here underneath InDesign, and we are going to go to units and increments. If you're on the PC, which most of you might be, you're going to go up underneath File and go all the way down to Preferences there. In here, we want to change things. If anybody knows, InDesign is really tailored for those people that were graphic designers that did boards. InDesign actually was Adobe PageMaker, which was Aldus PageMaker when it first started. I learned Aldus PageMaker 1.0 on in the Mac lab at RIT, and it was a great program, and it was a pretty good program even after Adobe bought it. But then it got to be a real pain in the butt. It got a lot. It was just not good code, and Adobe just kept writing crap on top of crap, and eventually they rewrote it from scratch with this program, which is Adobe InDesign. And it's a very good program. The only other competitor out there is Quark Express, and Quark Express is a great program. I've tried it, I've used it, I've done a lot of stuff with it, but I just prefer InDesign and the whole suite of products that comes with it. It's just, it all works together so well, and you're going to see how some of that stuff works. Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, they all work so good together. In my preferences file, I'm going to start right off the bat, and I am going to come in here, and I'm going to make sure that my horizontal and vertical rulers are in inches, okay? And you'll see a lot of things that'll say picas. Picas are old school. I used to do everything in picas. I don't do picas anymore. I don't expect you guys to understand picas, and that's fine. But everything shows up in picas when you make a new document or anything like that, this is where we're going to change it. So this is one of the big things that we're going to change if you have to, and that's where you find it. Now, if you do not have rulers showing, see the rulers on the top and along the left, we can go to View, and we're going to show, so hide rulers or show rulers. So Command R or Control R on the PC, okay? And if I do that, it's going to make them disappear, and we're going to go back to View, and we're going to show rulers. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I am a keyboard shortcut junkie. I am all about trying to be as efficient as possible with the program and get it done. I try to do my work as much quality as possible, but I always will make sure that I'm very proficient. Try not to be slow. I try to learn new things all the time. So I'm going to try not to do any shortcuts for you guys. I'm going to show you shortcuts. Hopefully you'll use them and catch on to them, but I'm not going to be I try not to use them all the time. Okay. Right up here in the toolbar, in the rulers though, we went to see how you can see them. If at any point in time, they're in a different measurement than inches or picas, you can always come up here and right click and change that information. If you right click right in the ruler, and if I change that to picas, it's going to change in picas, but the only thing is you got to change it on both sides. So I'm going to come in there and change it to picas, but now I'm going to go back to inches. If you're using a Mac and you don't have a right-click mouse, all you have to do is control-click in there, and that'll do the same thing, okay? This gray area here around your document, that area is your clipboard. You can put things there like graphics or pieces of text or photos or whatever you want, just like that would be your desktop on your drafting table. This whole idea of InDesign is wrapped around the whole idea of doing boards and paste up and waxing and cutting and overlays and the whole thing, but all electronically. So for a lot of you guys, you're going to say, that sounds Greek to me, but there's still a lot of people out there that say, I grew up in mechanicals, I know how to do it, and if you do, that is actually fantastic. That means you have an edge on everybody else. Let's take a look. We can see that we can use these scroll bars just like everything else, like Word or whatever you're used to, but we want to be able to get around our document pretty good. So I'm going to come over here right off the bat and let's talk about some of the tools that are here. Here is the Move tool, and if you actually just move your Selection tool or the Move tool, notice this says Selection tool and then in parentheses V. V is for the Move tool. It's universal. It is the keyboard shortcut on almost every Adobe program out there. Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop. If you hit the V on the keyboard, that will take you to that tool. And the V tool, or the Move Tool Selection tool, that allows you to click on anything and then move it. Okay, so if I grab this text,